Right, you released.
I think we put one in.
You did.
She directed it continuous.
A little bit. Did you mean for release or no release? No release. So you got release anyway.
Yeah, I did a little bit now.
Well, you didn't. Frankly, I'm pleased that you said you didn't want release. Because Matt's right, you didn't give one. But you didn't give them enough for them to commit to that. Obviously, because where the other correct answer to where'd you get that release is they just got it with their antenna. They did it themselves. They just decided we're going to release with each other by listening and feeling and breathing together. So, and as we know, that's all of our instincts. You know we see Fermata, we think there's going to be space afterwards, just because 99% of the time there is. So once again, it's a good opportunity for us to just talk about how do we help those players really trust that, go against their intuition and instinct that there'll be a breath mark. Frankly, us wind players, we're sort of physiologically inclined to do that anyway because we need an air. I mean, we need a breath, we need some air. So we like to put it there, and we have to go against that. So I think sagittal plane can help. I think left arm is really important. You gotta give some kind of keep giving it to me kind of signal. I think Mark and I talked about it. I think if you actually move some wind, it'll help. I think, was it you, Mark? Yeah. Right? Mark was showing with the stick, but then he took the breath. And so we talked about to counteract that, if he just actually exhaled like he was playing his clarinet, that would help. And that's just a good idea in general. We'll see that you're moving some wind, and that'll help us to trust that you want us to do this thing. Because there's a trust in there too, I mean, how exposed are you as a player if you release when you maybe shouldn't have? Not very much. If you release and everybody else blows through, you're pretty safe. Think about the opposite. If you blow through and everybody else releases, you're that in the middle of silence or something, and nobody likes to be that kid. So we're gonna do a self-defense kind of thing. Okay? So why don't we do the repeat from the beginning? Let's do the first measure and try some of those things. Make a little plan. Think of what you might feel comfortable doing to show them release or not. And then now, winds, you have to be actors to a degree, okay? Try to do what she asks you to do, not what you now know that she wants you to do. Try to just respond to what you see. Okay? So, first measure, but second time. Everybody in to understand, if it were fill in the blank of your opinion of what's the greatest conductor walking the earth, they probably still couldn't walk in stone cold, first read, and get a group of musicians to blow through every one of those fermatas. It's just too ingrained in our DNA to make those releases there. So there is a degree of this. Great conducting, everybody. Conducting well helps us, enables us to have an efficient rehearsal, because we can use fewer words if we're visually convincing. Pictures in 1,000 words. We all know about that. It's very true. I can show something much more musically and effectively and efficiently than I could try to take 10,000 words and describe what I want to happen. So if you can conduct well, you can have an efficient rehearsal. You cannot ever have a silent rehearsal unless you play a game. I used to do it in my high school band every once in a while. We called it monk rehearsal. I couldn't talk. They couldn't talk. I just had to, every once in a while we adapted the rules. I can say letter A or I can say number 42, but I could not say, there's an accent there. I could not say, please crescendo. I could not say, please play mezzo piano. It's a fun game with your students. We did a variation of monk rehearsal too, was just, I couldn't say anything that was written on the parts. I couldn't say, it says piano, because it's there. And students get into that, especially because then you're in rehearsal and you say, clarinet's a measure 22. Oh, I can't say that. And then the clarinets go, what was it? So it's kind of fun. Like, you might stow that away in your database someplace. Can't say what's written on the part is a fun version of that monk rehearsal. So, but you're never going to be like in a real, besides a little experiment or a game situation, silent in a rehearsal. So, greatest conductor in the world probably still has to come in, conduct this thing. You want all the fermatas to connect. It's not going to happen the first time. Most efficient way to do it is, thanks everybody, beautiful sounds. I'm showing you something you're not expecting. I'm going to work harder to show it again. Let's do it again. And then the second time, you'll see the same gestures Kara made the first time and trust them a little bit more. Does that make sense? You'll just know, I'm looking for Waldo here. It's not a standard picture. There's Waldo hanging out in there somewhere. So I'm going to look at it a little bit differently than I would a regular painting of a bowl of oranges. Okay? Thank you.